Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're still talking about Peter and the arc of his relationship with Jesus. We have just a few more um, places in the scriptures to look at when we talk about Peter, and then we'll talk about what we know historically about his death. But today we have one more place in the book of Acts that we'd like to look, and we're backtracking a little bit. We were in chapter 15 yesterday of the book of Acts, which is really Peter's last appearance in the book, as the book of Acts transitions from being a story about Peter to a story about Paul. In chapter 12, we have this episode in which he really plays a passive role. But it is that, I don't want to say the word passivity, but the word calm. It is that calm I want us to notice. Because the Peter that we come to know in the Gospels is a man of great emotion, a man of impetuosity, a man who has worn his heart on his sleeve, who speaks without thinking. Certainly not the man of confidence that we get to know in the book of Acts. And even though we see the confidence and the maturity that clicks in, even before the giving of the Holy Spirit in chapter 2, that clicks in after he sees the ascension of Jesus into heaven, and then is only deepened by the giving of the Holy Spirit in Acts chapter 2. We see him being a man who makes mistakes. And we saw the big one that he made in Antioch, and the way Paul got in his face in front of everyone and recorded it for all human history because of the prejudiced way he was acting towards Gentile Christians. But then we also saw him speak up very boldly and really to end the debate, to give the definitive answer, and that led the way for Paul and Barnabas' testimony there in Acts chapter 15. I wanted us to look at this wonderful episode from Acts chapter 12 just because of how thoroughly and completely calm he is. And he reminds me of Jesus in the storm on the Sea of Galilee when he's asleep, as Mark tells us, laying with his head on the seat cushion in the middle of this storm, and everyone else thinks they're going to die. And he's calm because he can sleep in the middle of this. And we have Peter, much like Jesus, in that moment of crisis, able to sleep whenever he's about to be executed the next day. But of course, God has other plans. He's not going to be executed quite yet. Okay, Acts chapter 12, verse 7, verse 6. On that very night, when Herod was about to bring him forward, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers bound with two chains, and guards in front of the door were watching over the prison. This is Herod Agrippa II, raised in Rome. He's the grandson of Herod the Great. He's been given the title king because of his close connections. He was raised with emperors. Anyway, he has put to death James, John's brother, and Peter's one of his best friends. The four of them were a foursome from the time they were young men, maybe even earlier. And so he saw how well that pleased the Jews. He arrests Peter, and he's going to do that to Peter as well. An angel of the Lord suddenly appeared, and a light shone in the cell and struck Peter's side and roused him, saying, "Get up quickly." And his chains fell off his hands. And the angel said to him, "Gird yourself and put on your sandals." And he did so. And he said to him, "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me." And he continued out following, as he did not know what was being done by the angel, whether it was real or because he thought he was seeing a vision. And when they had passed the first and second guard, they came to the iron gate that leads to the city, which opened for them all by itself. They went out along one street, and immediately the angel departed from him. Peter came to himself, and he said, "Now I know for sure the Lord has sent forth his angel and has rescued me at the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting." When he realized this, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, who was also called Mark, where many were gathered together and were praying. Okay, so this is amazing. He's chained up between two soldiers and he's sleeping. But of course, Jesus told him when he called him the second time in John 21, You can put on your own belt now and go where you want to go. But when you get older, people are going to put you in chains. They're going to gird you and take you where you don't want to go. Jesus already told him something like this was going to happen. He went about his entire ministry knowing that this was the way it was going to end. And so he's calm. And whenever he's rescued by the angel, and this is amazing, the way they just walk out and the big iron gate opens up for them all by itself. He thinks it's a vision until he finds himself alone on a street. So then he calmly goes to Mary's house where they're praying for him. One day he will die in exactly the way Jesus prescribed, but it won't be this night. And I just wanted us to notice the calm that Jesus provided in his life. And tomorrow, next time we're together, we'll look at his letters. Thank you for joining me.